Today's cold open is brought to you by whatever copywriter was hired by the Shootz Brewery, because we were too uncreative to come up with our own thing. Here we go. Des Cahooties? Des Shootz? Des Shootz? We've heard it all over the 30 years we've been brewing craft beer, so we're making it easy this time around. At 99 calories and 4.2 carbs, this refreshing American Pilsner is your new summer beer. Simple in design, this beer is made to pair with doing. There's really no activity or non-activity that wouldn't pair perfectly with this beer. Leave the beer creation and obstacles and overthinking to us. Cheers. Today on the podcast, the boys are drinking the Shootz. Without a hitch. Cheers. Cheers over the laptop. Nice.
That is an easy.
Perhaps the
beer.
Bluetooth connection is not meant for time-sensitive.
You're gonna have to get, you're gonna have to know that it's like a half second and push it
It's
right
true.
before. Yeah, but you did a good job.
I did?
Yeah, you did a good job, son.
Thanks, Dad.
That first drink was excellent.
I have been seeing this beer on the shelves for a few months now, I think, because they were probably releasing it leading up to summer.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I've had it, and I really like that first drink, too.
Yeah, and the campaign around it or the description that you just read is interesting. I was saying this right before we went on. I can't think of another brewery that's kind of a craft beer brewery who decided to make a 99-calorie, low-carb, 4.2 carb beer. This is just a light beer. This is a Bud Light, but it's good.
Yeah, I don't know, because, these have to be difficult to make, right? Like, the super light beer, I don't think is easy to make and taste decent, basically. That's why it's impressive what, adjunct lagers are and macro breweries and stuff. And so you're right. Would you say that the 12th biggest brewery in the U.S. or something? But 15th, they are independent, or 15th biggest.
Yep.
They are independent. To do this is cool. 99 calories.
Yeah, 4% alcohol. 25 IBU, very easy. That's basic. That is every other light beer, except this one is really refreshing. It's crisp, and the can art is like this floral pattern, very summery.
Yeah. See, that's why it's kind of misleading, I think, because most craft beers that are a little bit heavier have this level of graphic design and
the
artwork
floral stuff
put into them, and especially the flowery hops type stuff.
Right. It makes me think that it's like an IPA. I would think that the only downside to what I'm drinking has got to be that this is probably a semi-high price point compared to Bud Light.
It was the same price as Peroni, so it was like $11 after tax.
Why would you know the price comparison between Peroni and Shootz?
You have a good memory,
from
but it
last
cuts
week's
off
episode?
after a week. Yeah,
all right, got
from
it.
last week's episode.
That's really cool. So
we recorded last week.
6-pack was $11, which in Seattle is that sounds like a lot of money, but in Seattle that's about what 6-packs are.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
So it's kind of a downside though, because light beer's a few bucks cheaper than that for a 6-pack.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's
$6. Around $1 a beer. Yeah, maybe even less for the super, Miller Lite. I think it's probably even less than that.
Right, and
it's $6 for a 6-pack of Tall Boys or something.
Right, but it's impressive that Deschutes is saying, fuck it, we're going to go right into that category of beers. And yeah, it'll cost kind of like our other beers cost, but it's going to be that much better than all those other light beers. So if the reason you're drinking light beer is because it's low carb, low calorie, we have something for you that actually tastes good. And this is wonderful.
It is good. And I think the IBU is a little bit higher than most beers this light, I think. But that is what gives it that added flavor.
Probably.
Yeah.
But to have a high IBU but still keep the carbs and the calories down is, like you said, it's probably difficult
unique.
To do. And
yeah,
it's
and
impressive.
It's difficult. I think, and you're right about the price thing, and that can kind of scare you away. But have you seen anything about this, larger parts of society going towards not drinking alcohol, or not being as big into getting drunk all the time? They're calling it sober curious. Have you heard of this?
No, have not.
Have you seen this?
I don't. I turned another cheek altogether to this lifestyle choice.
All 4 cheeks.
What do you mean? Is this a social media phenomenon? So alcohol is starting to be like smoking or something?
In some ways, I think the things people say is it just like makes them feel, shitty. Like if it's
Sure.
the whole stealing from tomorrow thing, like our buddy Matt has said that before.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to steal from tomorrow. And that's what drinking a lot can do. So like either abstaining from alcohol or drinking something like this, a 4%er, like you're not afraid to spend the extra money on it because it's not about getting drunk necessarily. It's about enjoying the experience, sharing a beer with friends while doing with friends. This beer's made for doing.
It's made for doing. I get all that. To your point, I think it's a lot easier probably to drink responsibly, like to just have like a buzz and not go overboard if you're sticking to this stuff. In general, that's what I try to do is just stick to beer, even if it's more than light beer.
Yeah.
And even if I go overboard, then like I don't feel like I don't like just shoot tomorrow completely away.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we went to Milwaukee in the spring, I just lost the next day because we were ripping margaritas. We were out all night. But I think the only counter argument to that are like, you might be depriving yourself of like having a really truly like fun evening. Like if it's a once in a while thing, I think I disagree.
Are you getting burpy on this, Joe?
I am. Yeah. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. If it's a once in a while thing, I think I disagree with this. I think if all your buddies are around, like when we went home, we went to Milwaukee and we were like, let's go prowl around Milwaukee, and we were catching up, and we were going overboard, but like we were hanging out and just it was the right time to do it. It would be kind of crazy to be like sober society or whatever the fuck you said the like hashtag was. Sorry,
sober curious.
I'm gonna go home because then tomorrow. Will be...
I don't know if it's about that. I think it's about situations where you don't really need to drink. Probably if you're like at a ball game or something.
Sure. Yeah.
And there's, it's a push to want more non-alcoholic beverages, like more options available.
Like what? Like what's not available?
So sort of like non-alcoholic cocktails, mocktails as they're known.
I see.
Like that sort of thing.
Those suck. It's just sugary junk.
Agreed. I don't want the sugary stuff.
Just drink water.
I think that's
Stay home. The sun probably you'll have too many UV rays.
This is what you and Chuck Woolery are shitting on the sober curious movement.
No, I'm not shitting on the sober curious movement in the way Chuck Woolery would. I'm not Chuck Woolery. I just
Pretty
think
close.
I just think that the women's national soccer team is a disgrace to America.
Glock Jolie. Gotcha.
If it is Chuck like Glockley or something like that, I don't know.
But your last name sounds like his first name, and then the last name of him sounds like your first name. Glock Jolery.
Glock Joey, basically, is Chuck Woolery. Yes. What were we talking? Oh,
nailed him.
I think some of these movements are overthinking things too much. I think people tend to overthink things.
Well, I think it's people want what they want to do personally to be more mainstream and accepted. I think that's part of the problem.
Who cares? Just go live your life the way you want to live.
To some extent, if it's more widely known, then there will be more options for them to enjoy.
I don't buy that they like can't go to. Maybe your example of a ball game is not a great one, but even let's say it is, I don't buy that there's not options.
And it is.
I don't buy that there's not options at a ball game to like go and enjoy.
Sure,
like, you can.
There's like
go
1,000 lemonade stands at ball games.
Get lemonade and all that stuff. Like you can find stuff to do. I think it's just like I don't like when people like overclassify things. It's this desire to put everything into a black or a white bucket, and then like you artificially put like bullshit limits on yourself because you're doing a blah. It's similar when I hear somebody like, I'm on a juice cleanse, so even though I'd really love to do this little thing, I can't do it because I've put myself in this black and white bucket of things, so I can't.
Well, you got to get hot. That's the whole thing.
But you can.
Society tells you got to get hot.
Just balance. Have a well-balanced life. You don't have to have these extreme, like, sorry, I'm doing the blah, and it's a fad, and it will die, and I will never do it again after 3 days from now, but that's what I'm doing. It's like a diet pill.
But I think people like doing it because it makes them feel special, and that's just how some people's brain works, is like black or white. Like, I'm all in on gluten, or I'm never touching this stuff.
Right.
Like that sort of thing.
And that's fine if that's how your brain works, but like there is a desire to tell everybody and to blog about it and to make a whole social media persona about
Have you
it.
been
To
in the
cash
forums, Joe?
to sell it is, I guess, my problem. I don't like people. I don't know if this movement.
Well, that's
is
what
for
I think.
Sales.
It gets back to. Oh yeah, it's about moving product. Sure. So
you
companies
sure-
are probably
you
propping
sure,
this up.
Are you
yeah.
sure Ben and Jerry's didn't create the sobriety now movement
Right.
or
Yeah.
whatever?
Milkshakes only.
Yeah,
Um,
and that
No.
sucks. It's like advertising.
I don't think it's only that.
Okay.
It's about consumer choice, Joe. No, it is about. I think part of it is people wanting their own personal things to feel more mainstream and acceptable,
I would agree with that, but I also think
which
part
I
of
don't
that-
think is good. Like, don't get me wrong,
sure, but I
it's
get
like
the
they want to feel
inclination.
more inclusive or whatever.
Sure, but I also
Which
think
which I don't think is not good.
yeah,
That's not what I'm saying.
which you're saying is bad. Inclusivity is bad. Diversity is bad.
That's not what I said.
That's verbatim what you said if you play the tape back. That's what Nick Patry thinks.
I agree it came off wrong, but that is not what I was trying to say.
No, I agree with everything you're saying. I think, again, it goes back to the overthinking thing. I think sometimes people are trying to solve a problem that's not there.
Sure.
And this may be an instance of a problem that's not there. Is it really the case that whatever you're going and doing, there's not a non-alcoholic option? Can't you just kind of quietly go and get an ice cream? Do we have to create a movement?
Quietly.
Exactly. Do we have to create a movement behind the idea that you prefer not to drink a beer at the ball game and you prefer to have a lemonade?
Right.
Just go have a lemonade. It's
I think
fine.
that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, is like they shouldn't need to feel like it needs to be this widely
I see.
accepted thing
right.
in order to do it. If you want to do it, just do it.
Exactly.
yeah.
But it goes back to the classification thing. If somebody says, why are you having a lemonade? It's hard to be like, well, look, I don't like the way alcohol makes me feel. It's easy to be like, I'm in the sobriety now project.
Sober curious.
I'm in the sober curious project. And they go, oh, I know what that is. Cool. And then everybody goes about their way. Just go have a lemonade. And also, if you're the type of person that's giving somebody shit for having a lemonade, fuck you. Let them have a lemonade. Everyone's on blast. Nick threw a chair across the room.
I did. Jesus. All right. Yeah.
But don't be somebody who's causing a
society
problem.
is to blame and to Shootz.
Shootz is to blame. This beer sucks. No, this beer is great. I think we should get to, speaking of moving product, they are running a marketing campaign. So if you go to DeSchootzBrewery.com/parrotwithfun, you can see that they are investing heavily in this Shootz beer.
Yes.
And they have created a marketing campaign called Parrot with Fun, but the fun you can replace, it's like a Mad Lib thing here. Or you can pair it with something. Pair it with joysticks if you like video games. Pair it with backspin for ping pong. Pair it with the great outdoors for camping. Pair it with slow pitch. Pair it with putt-putt, that kind of thing. So basically, if you're out there doing activities, grab one of these. It's light. It's not going to make you feel like shit. And anyone can enjoy it. Pair with cosplay.
Yeah, it goes on and on. I've been watching this cycle through. It has not repeated since I've been looking at it for like 30 seconds.
They put a lot of weight into the idea that this just goes with everything that you're doing, which means it's a very casual beer, which I agree with. Now, one thing I don't agree with is their mascot on this page. So we have a parrot here. Because, as I said, there's kind of a floral jungly pattern on
there's a fun bear on here, too.
There's a little bear
He's
who's
kind of
looking
hiding on
happy.
the can.
Yeah, he peeks out. You play with your kids, like find the bear. Go give me another one. See if you can find the bear.
That's a good idea. Dads out there, go get your grads to find you a bear on the beer can.
Dads and grads is done.
We're
Did
done.
you listen,
We are
to
done.
Scott Ackerman? But anyway, this marketing campaign features a parrot because of the floral things, but he's hot. He's like
You know
a
what
sexy
I
parrot.
didn't realize until like 10 seconds ago was that it's a parrot because of the like parrot with thing. That's why they have a parrot.
Oh, wow. Pair it with. Yeah, I didn't get it either. So that's pretty good. But
I guess, please go on because the parrot's messed up.
so that's not my point. The idea of having a parrot mascot because you're saying pair it with slow pitch is great. What doesn't need to be there is this parrot is absolutely jacked out of his gourd.
He's got big biceps.
2 enormous biceps for arms, so he's like a sexy parrot.
He's a hot parrot.
Or this is going with like the the Old Spice surreal ad campaigns where we go
It's a
like,
little
isn't
bit
this
that.
funny
Yeah.
that the parrot's hot? I want to fuck the parrot.
Isn't it funny that I'm attracted to this parrot? I want him to wrap me up in his big biceps.
Right. He's hot as hell.
Hit me with his beak.
But the parrot notwithstanding, it's a great website, just like the rest of the campaign. The color
It is
scheme,
a beautiful website.
everything is really, really well done. The folks at Day Shootz running their media campaigns are great. So they like a lot of beer
Bend,
sites.
Oregon, baby.
Yeah.
All these libs, these West Coast libs working on this. I don't know why I got to do that.
You're Chuck Woolery. You're Glock Joey.
No, it's beautiful.
It is. So a lot of these beer websites have a similar pattern. It's one big ass section, and you scroll down, you see another big ass section. They all do the same thing. So I'll go through the sections. The first is the hot parrot you want to fuck.
Mm.
The second is a little description here: sessionable, crushable, American Pilsnerable. I think that's pretty good.
That's fun.
Our brewers put a lot of time, energy, and effort into making the Shootz highly sessionable and deliciously crushable. In other words, we already overthought this one. You don't have to. Because we all love to overthink things, don't we?
I know. I don't know if I buy the overthinking aspect of all of this. Because when someone's trying to pronounce the name, so that's what that thing I started with, they're trying to pronounce the name, that's not overthinking it.
Right.
'Cause
That's
they're
them not knowing. It's not about like overthinking.
So I don't buy the overthinking part of it.
In fact, maybe they should have overthought this because it's kind of confusing to call a beer Da Shootz being Da Shootz Brewery, especially if you're going to pump this and make this your flagship.
I like the Deschutes thing. I just don't like the corresponding copy.
So yeah, I don't even know if we said this.
B minus.
The beer is called Da Shootz, and that's DA space SHOOTZ exclamation point, which is officially part of the trademark.
Yes.
So you have to keep the exclamation point. Whereas Deschutes Brewery is one word Deschutes, that's DESCHUTES.
Now, Joe, as the resident linguist, is that French?
Buongiorno. I'm here. Oh, no, I'm not doing that. What was I doing? Deschutes would be French, yeah, I guess. But you wouldn't say Deschutes, I don't think.
Yeah,
you say Deschutes.
That's how you'd say it.
Just to round it, oh God, there's more. I can't even round it out. So the rest of the copy on the website, designed for doing, we made this beer to keep your palate happy and your wits sharp, which means that as long as it's fun, you can pair it with the Shootz.
And get behind the wheel.
Yeah, behind the wheel. Well, no, I think it's going back to your reduce the alcohol a little bit.
Yeah, I would assume that is what they're going for, especially with the doing thing.
Yeah, which is cool.
Many of those activities they listed were physically demanding in some way.
But a lot of them were certainly things you would have a beer, putt golf or whatever, slow pitch softball,
Right.
camping, all of that's like stuff you'd have a couple casual beers. Certainly would be likely to pick
get
this
pissed
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bend, Oregon, by the way, is a beautiful city.
Yeah, you've done your Bend, Oregon
Great
thing.
outdoor.
You watched a bar
have
fight.
we?
You've watched a bar
that's
fight
right.
there.
During the Super Bowl.
I think folks can go back to the last Day Shootz episode, Swivelhead Red IRA, and that's where you can catch up on the gambling addict that Nick met in Bend, Oregon.
And do you mean the Swivelhead Red IRA that once reached #1 on the cold cans list?
Ah, yes. So if you are out there and you were thinking about going to this website we're on, and instead you just Google Day Shootz Brewery, Google it, and then click on the Wikipedia entry and go ahead and read the history for Day Shootz, specifically the last line at Wikipedia. It'll be a bit of a surprise for Cold Cans Nation. So the last part of the website says, beer nerds, look here. And then this is some of our beer stuff. So the malts in this beer, Bohemian Pilsner, and Carapils. The hops are Tettnang, Lemon Drop, and Azaka. As we said before, it's 99 calories, 25 IBU, 4% alcohol, 4.2 carbs. It's great. And then they have a social media campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So you can show us how you pair with #ParrotWithFun. And there's a bunch of pictures of people doing shit. Not really. Just kind of pictures of advertisements that they've set up. One of which is in Seattle, I see. Parrot with Street Art. This is by the place Local 360, which is in Belltown neighborhood of Seattle. Which is
that
cool.
right?
Yep. But yeah, and then there's some people that are like,
oh yeah, there it is,
making beer can chicken and stuff with it, which is cool.
Yeah, I've told you I saw a billboard for this beer, and it says Deschutes, I forget what it says, something about traffic because it is at a major intersection.
That's right.
It's better than sitting in traffic or something.
I forget what sitting in traffic.
That's
hope
not
so.
what it is because that would be bad.
Well, yeah,
because
I hope it's
of
better
course
than
it's
the bar's very low.
Yeah.
It also implies hey, you're sitting in traffic, you thinking about it?
Maybe it's tastes like no traffic or something like that.
Ah,
I forget
because it's breezy. It's you're flying down the road.
Exactly.
You've had a 6-pack of Deschutes and you're flying. Don't do it. Don't drink and drive.
Okay, let's do beer advocate. We got to wrap this sucker up. There was a good review from D-Town Beer Lover on April 29th of this year. Solid Pilsner, crisp and refreshing with no need to get hoppy just for the sake of being hoppy. True to the Pilsner style, while not as sweet as some. Very crushable. I would agree with that. Overall score is 3.53 out of 5 or good. This is an American lager, 4% alcohol, rotating availability.
Yeah, I completely agree with it. The good rating I actually thought was going to be a little bit better. That's surprising that it's...
So did I. And most of the reviews I see on the front page are pretty high, so I don't...
Yeah.
Maybe early people drinking it, not in the summer, didn't really like it or something.
Interesting. It's the floral part is certainly there, and there's like no hoppiness at all. Very little bitterness. It's almost like drinking kind of something almost like a shandy, but without the fruit juicy part of it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Very, very light.
No,
smooth.
you're right. It is juicy. There's some kind of fruit flavor coming through there,
but not
which is
certainly
nice.
not like a shandy where it's like you taste like a lemonade.
Right.
But there's that there. It's really, really good. I'm a huge fan. I'm tingling. I'm not
All right,
kidding.
what section? You got a cream then?
Yes, I'm
You gonna
cream of the
cream?
crop. I think it's that good.
Chuck's
what do
going
you
to
think?
cream. I think it could be up there. Let me take a look at the other beers.
Sure.
I'm going to read them.
Go ahead. You gonna read every single beer?
I'm going to read every beer.
90. Hold on. How
No,
many do we
from
have
13,
There's 90.
89?
There's
Or
90 beers.
90. Okay, 13 is Elysian Night Owl Pumpkin Ale. 12, Optimism Breweries Before the Dawn. 11, Radaburger. 10, Au Fin du Monde. 9, Traveling Like Kolsch. 8, Sierra Nevada Hazy Little Thing IPA. 7, Prima Pils. 6, Rodenbach Grand Cru. 5, Cold Cans Kolsch. 4, Spotted Cow. 3, Lagunitas Nighttime Ale. 2, Pyramid Snowcap Winter Ale. And number 1, Suda Sioux. Which, by the way, listener to the show, Kyle Dufek sent me a video of him drinking Suda Sioux at a bar.
What was his
I don't know if he gave me his take.
Wow.
I forget.
I've heard people react negatively.
Very negatively, yeah.
People
I remember.
didn't like Sudosu, which I think is shocking. It's like a really fucking good beer. And it's one of the few that we thought was great, and also Beer Advocate thought was great.
Right.
It's
right.
rated 4.5.
Though all that said,
5.
it's not sessionable at all. I would never have more than one of those.
But I would gravitate to it if I saw it on a shelf. I go, holy shit, Sudosu. Maybe now because it's sat at number
true,
1.
and it's more of a it's hard to find. I guess that's
Right.
still cool about it. It plays hard to get, and I like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, but I feel like it's also kind of put like a. It's got vice grips around the number 1 spot. It's got a stranglehold on the number 1 spot. Like it feels like we can't because
It's like we're in the T-Rex's jaws.
Right. Because we're 91 episodes in, we can't
you're right.
possibly unseat it. And I don't like that because this is one of the best beers I've had in a really long time. I don't know if it's the best beer, but it's really good.
Just to mix it up a little bit?
Kinda. But would you go back to the store, look at a shelf. The shelf has every beer we've done.
Mm.
What are you picking? Like this is right up there. I would grab
This time of year. I mean, this
beer.
time of year. It's summertime.
Yeah.
The weather is fine. We can grab some Shootz and feel very toots.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm grabbing this beer.
Okay. Spotted Cow's too low at number 4. It should be our number 1 beer. It's crazy that it's not.
I know. When did that get unseated?
It was
What
number
did we
1,
put
and then we
ahead
just
of it?
found other things. I mean, Lagunitas, Pyramid Snowcap Winter
Or I
Ale,
guess
and
like what was
Sudosu.
I forget what the first one. It was winter time. We were depressed, so we were putting all these imperial lagers up there.
Yeah.
And winter warmers.
Yeah. And fair enough, because those have a time and a place. But this is like...
Should we put it as a 1A, 1B situation?
Wow. Well, we can't do that. We have to pick.
Come
If
on,
we're gonna do
we're
it, we have to
cowards.
do
We
it.
can do it.
Well, now the cowardly thing to do, which we should do, is re-rank our beers and then take something out of the number 1 spot.
And that's what'll happen. It'll be during sweeps week. That's what the viewers want.
Yeah. It's Patreon week. Give us money.
We're making $1 million a year on Patreon. Did you hear Weiger on some episode goes like
Of Doughboys?
of the popular podcast Doughboys?
Yep.
He's like, I was thinking about stopping doing this, and then I look at the Patreon and realize I'm financially like dependent on this show. That's why we come back. It was funny.
It's true, too.
It was funny.
They make a ton of money on Doughboys. And good for them. They deserve it. They're great.
Mhm.
All right. I don't know. I'm like frozen here. I feel like this is a crucial decision. We're at a crossroads here.
All right.
And it's
Should we
a
3,
big
2,
one.
1
It has some gravity to me.
It has some gravitas.
I would 3,
Got
2,
some
1.
gravitas.
Can we take
as
another?
Joey would say. Would take a what? Picture?
What do you mean? As I would say, you son of a bitch. You know what I said the other day that I've said recently? I said last week on the show that I saw Rocket Man,
Yes.
and in one of the segments,
Uh-huh.
he is in Dodger Stadium with a flamboyant outfit with his bat, which is fucking awesome.
Okay.
He comes out Dodger Stadium, and his outfit, I said, was sequins.
That's right.
Because I think that it's Saquon Barkley. I think that's in my head. And it's
Well, you
sequins.
said sequins before
I
that.
said sequins before it, and then I said it
Yeah.
again, and Devin went, what? And I was like, oh. So yeah, I can't say words. What do you want from me?
No. I meant you said I was on your porch
Yeah,
with
I know.
you and Devin, and
I
you
know.
were
It's
talking
happened
about.
before.
Yeah, you said sequins.
Non sequitur,
The gravitas on
Saquon
this
Barkley. The gravitas. I can read words. I know what the word is, but I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Devin, she says words that are in the same like ballpark as a word, where it's like it's the wrong word, but it's close, and then I understand what she's saying. I'll just say words wrong. And Nick, he's Mr. Fucking Perfect. He says it right every time.
No, I'm not even saying that. I get it. You're trying to communicate something. All that matters is that the person understands. It doesn't have
That's
to
true.
be perfect.
Sure.
Like true to whatever
All that matters. I don't think that's perfect grammar, my dear boy.
See?
All right. We'll 3, 2, 1 it. So are we in cream of the crop
All
together?
is that matters. All apostrophe S.
All is that matters. Do we have cream
Let's
of the crop?
do it.
Ready?
Cream of the crop.
We're going to 3, 2, 1 it?
3.
Oh, hold on. I wanted another drink.
Oh, there's a 6-pack sitting there. You can do one? I don't want one. I'm trying to cut back. Oh, no, he's going to crush it. It is crushable. Uh-oh. You know you can't do that anymore, Joe.
I got through I almost got through half of it.
Okay, let me verify. Sure.
What? You think it's a third? All right, 3, 2, 1 it.
3, 2, 1.
One!
1!
Whoa!
Hell yeah.
Whoa!
We got a one. We got a one. We got a one.
New number 1!
Okay. I'm
The
gonna
Shootz!
have to edit this episode because
No,
you're
you're not.
screaming into the mic again.
We got a new number 1, folks!
It feels good.
It feels
Pseudo
great.
should be unseated.
Hell yeah!
Fuck Pseudo Sue.
Our new number 1, the Shootz from Day Shootz.
Hey. You should be an in-stadium announcer and just do that whenever it's like announcing the winner. Because you give your all to that. Not many do.